Yes, Senator John McCain. Good evening, Senator. And I know that this is not about optics. It's far more serious. And the president, during the White House Correspondents' Dinner, was ordering the takedown of Osama bin Laden. However, the American people are scared. They've seen the beheading. They know about the terrorism. Is the president showing the concern he should for the American people?
Well, I hope that he is, and I hope that it's just an optics problem. But what I hope that the president would do is review the series of grave errors that he's made, which has led up to the situation that we were in, not leaving a residual force behind in Iraq, which he could have done and bragged about the fact that we didn't during the 2012 campaign, overruling his entire national security team, as reported by Hillary Clinton when they recommended stepping up and giving aid and assistance to the Free Syrian Army in Syria. A number of the fact that he said he announced that Bashar Assad had crossed a red line and he was going to attack, and we all know he reneged on that, which destroyed American credibility in the region. There's a series of mistakes that I hope that the president realized, which has led us to his Secretary of Defense and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs finally recognizing that this is a direct threat to the United States of America.
I know this is also not a game. This is not a big I told you so. But in 2008, when you said that we'd need to leave troops in Iraq for a very long time, you got mocked by President Obama, candidate Obama, and by candidate Hillary Clinton. You were the one that wanted to take care of the Free Syrian Army and to arm them. And again, that was dismissed. So tell me, what is your strategy today in light of where we are?
First of all, if the president will develop a strategy, we'll support it. So far, there is no strategy, but there's four things we need to do immediately. One is to have a reconciliation between Sunni and Shia in Baghdad with the new government. Give military aid to the Kurds who are using old Russian equipment. The Peshmerga will fight and fight well, but they need the equipment to do it. Massively increase our assistance to the Free Syrian Army, and airstrikes that go to Syria, because there is no boundary between Syria and Iraq today. And we have to do it hard, and we have to do it often, and incrementally is not the way to do it.
Now, they have ISIS has threatened the United States. They have carried out its threat against James Foley, which many of us have seen on a video or seen the pictures of, and it is absolutely, I mean, beyond words. Do you think that they're here in the United States? Because, and I don't want to be an alarmist, but I've seen what they've done.
Well, could I mention that I have been now named as ISIS as the #1 enemy and crusader, and I'm extremely proud of that in their online propaganda. There is no doubt in my mind, with the number of Europeans, and about 100 Americans are the estimates, and people from all over the world who have been radicalized, who are now fighting in Syria, are going to come back to the countries that they came from. In the case of Europe, they don't need a visa to come to the United States. As you know, there was a young American that fought in Syria, radicalized, came back to the United States, and then came back to Syria and blew himself up as a suicide bomber. That should ring alarm bells throughout our intelligence community, and I think is probably one of the factors that has caused for this dramatic turnaround by our Secretary of State and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. For years, I've been arguing with the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff that we ought to take the strategy, or at least the position, they have no strategy, the policy that they are now viewing as the appreciation of this threat to the United States of America.
Did you think that the military statement, Secretary Hagel's statement yesterday, was stronger than the president's? I mean, about this, did you get that sense?
I think it was much stronger, but and the president's statement on the terrible tragedy of Mr. Foley, they're very strong statements, but where is the strategy? In other words, this is like, I mean, it's incredible, because they are now warning us about how horrible the enemy is and how dangerous it is. They have articulated no strategy that I know of. And obviously, part of that is going to have to be a number of additional American American forces in Iraq, not for combat purposes, but to help the Iraqis in this conflict. If they're going to take back this territory, they're going to have a lot of American help. And second of all, Greta, it's not a matter of stopping ISIS. We have to defeat ISIS, and we have to take them out with whatever means possible. The fact that the administration made public that there had been a rescue attempt will harm further rescue attempts, because good journalists will be finding out additional details, which then gives methods and capabilities over to the enemy, ISIS in particular. So further rescue attempts will be complicated and more difficult, because this administration, for whatever reason, whatever motive, made it known that they had made an attempt to rescue these people. And it is not a valid excuse to say that news organizations were on the story. We could have denied it.
You know, it's funny. I had a different reaction to that, and it's no secret I don't have a military background. I've never been in any leadership in the military. But I actually thought that it sends a message to ISIS. You know what? We're going to get you where you are. We're coming for you. And if anything, it's you know, I actually had a little, sort of a different thought. I thought I actually was happy to hear about that. And I think that I would hope that maybe it would scare some of them, because we're coming for them.
The best way to send a message to ISIS is through ordnance dropped on their heads and blowing them to smithereens, blowing them straight to hell where they belong.
Well, of course, there's also the fact that our intelligence was so bad is that we showed up when nobody was there, which is beyond me, the intelligence gathering that could happen. But anyway, I'm taking the last word on that. Senator, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Greta.